Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 518.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the CashFlow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other CashFlow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Massey, and I'm glad that you are here today because we are going to talk about something that, for me personally, is by far one of the worst pieces of having to be in business. This is the thing I cannot stand the most. In fact, my entire team knows not to use this word near me because I don't currently enjoy them at all. And today we're going to be talking about meetings. Now, if I haven't lost you, and I don't think I have, I think there's a number of you who want to know how to deal. You probably look at it like it's a necessary evil in some way, shape, or form. You're like, oh man, another meeting. I have not met a person, except maybe today's guest, who goes, ooh, a meeting. I can't wait. But what's going to be exciting is that we're going to learn how to have better meetings. I have with me today none other than ELISE KEITH. She is the founder and CEO of Lucid Meetings, and you may know her from her Inc. column, Ask the Meeting Maven. And what's interesting to me is that she said, and I quote, the following words: I love helping people have better meetings. No one has ever said that to me. Like, how do you love helping people have better meetings? I'm like, better meetings are possible? I mean, okay, cool. I'm excited to find out because like I know, your business grows from meeting to meeting. Communicating with your team is absolutely necessary. And even if it's just you, you're a team of one. And you got to have a meeting with yourself occasionally. So let's get ready to listen, learn, and love ELISE KEITH. ELISE, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. That was a fabulous, fabulous example of exactly the kinds of things that get between people in their meetings. And it's wonderful to get to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, we're going there today because in fact, I kind of wish my CMO was here right now because he would be totally roasting me because he knows how much I enjoy, that's air quotes, meetings at this particular moment. So I'm looking forward to having a new paradigm by the time we're done talking, for sure, for me personally, and obviously for everyone else. So, now this being the first time that you're here, I have to ask you the same question I tend to ask everybody else the first time that they're here. You ready?
Bring it.
All right. I tend to look at today's entrepreneurs a lot like yesterday's superheroes, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, etc. I tend to think that entrepreneurs and superheroes have a ton of things in common. For example, occasionally as an entrepreneur, I can envision myself running around town, saving our customers one sale at a time with our product and service. And yes, probably at that moment, I'm wearing a cape. Also, though, like a superhero, there's a time where an entrepreneur has a beginning. And for example, if you think about Spider-Man, there was a time where he was just a kid going to school, doing his thing, taking some photos, trying to earn some pizza money to take Mary Jane out on a date. And then one day he gets bit by a spider, discovers he's got a superhuman ability, and he has to now choose, am I going to use this for good or for evil? So my question to you is as follows. Before your current company, Lucid Meetings, before the Inc. column, before the book, before everything that everyone knows you for today, what we want to know is, who is ELISE KEITH?
Fabulous. So I completely understand and empathize with the whole superhero journey because that was absolutely something that happened for me. I graduated college with a degree in theater. So, that led to a career.
Whoa. Hold on. You're telling me you're a creative and you like meetings?
Yeah, wild, right?
Oh, this is good. Keep going.
But so first of all, I thought, this would be great. I'm gonna become either a famous actress or I'm gonna do special effects makeup for Star Trek or something, right? But what I ended up actually doing was serving pancakes pregnant. So that didn't work.
Okay.
Went into technology instead. And as I joined the software startup world, I found that I was in this environment with people who believed they were going to change the world, right? Like they believed they were creating the new economy. Lives were being rocked. And yet they fell prey to these weird myths like, you can have quality or you can have the deadline and you can't have both. Well, I come from the arts world. Yeah, you're going to put on the opera Aida. It's going to open on Friday and there will be an elephant, right? Like this, these things didn't make any sense from my background. So I had this sort of struggle as I tried to understand how to make things go in a way that worked in the corporate world. And what I saw was, everybody spent a lot of time in meetings talking at each other and looking angry and, basically being dysfunctional. I thought, well, that can't be it. That can't be it. But as I got farther in my career, I had an opportunity to work with some interesting organizations where that wasn't the case, where they had all of the same, personality types and communication problems inherent in the people that we had back at the office. But instead of like just throwing them in a room to see what happened, they had a way to structure their meetings that made all of that work.
No.
And then, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's some people who are listening. I like when you say words like meetings and structure, and I don't know if you realize just how many times you've used them, and this is the last little bit that you've talked. I have this negative neuroassociation. My body just like, great.
Yes.
I can feel it's like, I don't like anything you're saying right now. Help me.
Help you. So absolutely. So, what you're experiencing is super, super, super freaking common because we have this like built-in society negative reaction to that word, right? It creates a self-fulfilling doom loop. Now, is that
that's one way of putting it.
It does, absolutely. So there's this great picture of a circle that I learned at one point in my entrepreneurial journey, and that circle is the belief cycle, and basically it goes like this. When you have an idea, you start with a belief about that idea. Let's take, say, meetings and the belief, and I would imagine this is your belief because you've said it several times. Meetings are a waste of time. Meetings suck, right?
And let's be clear. It could even be my meeting I'm talking about that I've called for. It's my company, and I still don't want to be there.
Absolutely, right. Meetings are a waste of time. So that's your starting belief. So what we believe informs what we do. And when we believe something is not a great use of our time, we certainly don't put a lot of extra time and effort into working on it, right? We don't go and we say, you know what, I hate this thing, so let me go do some more training. I hate this thing, so let me spend 5 hours finding a way to make it better, right? We don't put the work in.
Nope.
So our belief forms our action. And then your team shows up, and what do they see? I'm in a room with a leader who doesn't want to be here and did no work to prepare for this. What message do they get? Oh, we shouldn't want to be here because this is not a good use of our time. And we understand that everybody's here just because they have to be. And let's get out of the room as soon as we can.
That's reasonably accurate. Yeah.
So,
and then what's really funny is that you end up having a meeting after the meeting where you call each person individually and you're like, hey, okay, just so you know, this is why I just want to make sure you're clear. This is what I wanted you to do.
Yeah, exactly. So your belief creates your actions, which informs what they believe because that's what they see. And then that creates their actions. And by golly, if that doesn't loop right back, that was a meeting was a waste of time, right? It's a self-fulfilling, what we call a doom loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the place to start is to change the belief.
Yeah, I can feel that. But okay, let me take a step back. Because right now you're like a unicorn to me, someone who's enjoying the idea of meetings. You must tell me, were you just gifted? How did this, yeah, I know, because again, as an entrepreneur, you can choose to fix and solve any problem. But yet you go, you know what? I can help people with their meetings. How exactly does that come about?
So I worked in organizations that were dysfunctional and couldn't get things done. And then I saw organizations that were joyous places to work and that outperformed their competitors. And when I went to their meetings, they were completely different. These were these moments where the team comes together to talk to each other about what they care about what they're doing, to align, to create stronger agreements, and to reconfirm the kind of culture they want to live. And when you change that conversation, when you change the way you and your team treat each other in real time and talk about your work together, everything else changes. It's an amazing keystone, pivotal moment in the way that we run our businesses. And you can see that play out in the highest performing companies. So there are fabulous, wonderful stories about exciting, important, pivotal moment meetings from all over the entrepreneurial world once you start to look for them. And one of the keys to help both making that exciting and to breaking that doom loop is just not to call it a meeting. Right?
Okay, I'm down.
So this thing we're doing here, right?
Yes.
It's a conversation. It's an interview.
Sure.
It's a meeting.
But I'm having fun right now, Elise. It can't be a meeting. It's not allowed to be a meeting.
It is absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Is it scheduled? Did you know we were going to do it? Did you have a sense of what we were meant to achieve?
Yes.
I mean, so why not do that for every other one?
They don't feel like this.
Not yet.
Well, okay. All right. I'm trying to get on this wagon here because one of the challenges as we continue to grow, I mean, I feel like the company has hit this plateau, and I'm just like, cool, here's where we are. I'd like to be here, but we're not there yet. And I know one of the things that we need to do is, bring on more staff, which also means more meetings, in some way, shape, or form. So maybe give us an example, because this is obviously a very foreign concept, at least to me. What is a good meeting? What does that even look like, sound like, feel like? I mean, we know what the bad ones look like because we're having those. What's the opposite?
So let's, in one of the great practices that you'll see in organizations that are facing exactly what you're talking about, right? You've hit that tipping point where you can no longer make everything go just by talking to people individually, because there are too many people and there's too much to make go. So you got to find a different way. And the weekly team meeting is really this PowerPoint moment for making that the case. So the way that companies that are making that transition successfully will use that time, they'll use it first of all at the very beginning. And this is key for every single meeting ever. You have clarity of purpose. You know why everybody's there. And you know what you're meant to get at the end. Then these are very explicit. We are coming together so that we can keep track of our work, so we can celebrate our victories, and we are going to make sure that our promises are strong and they're being kept. And then you walk out with action items, decisions. You get actual and solutions to problems that your team is facing. So you get something out of that time. So that's clarity about why and what you're going to get are key. And then these companies will take the very first few moments when they walk in that door to spend time together, both acknowledging everybody's there, saying hi, and then doing something that embeds the values that you have as a company. The things you think you're going to put up on your poster, yeah, whatever. Skip the poster. Create a greeting ritual when you walk in that room with your team that says, this is who we are and this is what we care about. So to make that more real, let me give you an example. Corporate Starbucks often starts many of their meetings with a coffee tasting. So what does that do? First, it connects all of their employees with the product they're selling to customers, right? We are here to make great coffee. Do we have great coffee? Let's connect with that. Second, it gives them a caffeine boost, so that's not bad. But third, it's a sharing of food, which is an ancient foundational human ritual that shows in this room you are cared for. They care about great products. They care about great service. They care about treating people as people. And they spend 5 minutes at the beginning of every meeting practicing those things with this small ritual. There are teams who have taken up meditation. There are teams who take up icebreakers. Amazon very famously spends the first several minutes of their meeting reading in silence the reports from the week before, so that nobody has to do prep work in advance. They just come in and they read the stuff and then they have their discussion. So, there's a way to say, this is who we are, and connect with all those people and make it an event. I mean, this is your moment to design what it means to be part of your company. And you should seize that. That's a great opportunity.
Okay. I've got a question then.
Bring it.
Because I love that attitude, by the way. That's so great. She's like, I got this. You can just, I can tell you're like on the other side of the net, just ready. She's like, this is good. So, what about those of us who tend to work where the company or the personnel, it's more virtual in nature? Like, for example, I'm in Orange County, CMO's in Pasadena. My support customer experience and support staff, they're in Canada. Email and communications, they're in Missouri. Some of again, there's some people that work here I've never physically met, ever.
Yeah.
But yet, on Mondays and Fridays, we've got to have our meetings. So I can't exactly have coffee with them, I guess is really
coffee's not the ritual for you.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Hello there, entrepreneur. This is Jay Massey. I know that if you've ever gone over to the site, CashFlowDiary.com, you may have asked yourself, where on earth do you get a domain name from? Especially as you are beginning to build your bigger, better, badder business, you need a web presence. You need the email address. You need a way for people to contact you electronically so that you can stop doing the @gmail.com game. Well, the good folks over at GoDaddy have definitely supplied us with every domain that we have ever used. So what I want you to do is I want you to go over to trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary. Again, that's trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary, because it's a quick way for you to get set up to capture your domain name the exact way that you want it. They got easy search functions, and most importantly for you is that you'll be up and running today. As I said, once you get started, stay started. Don't let small little obstacles of how to get your own domain name going stop you. So again, go to trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary, and let's get back to the rest of the story.
So our team is also distributed.
Okay.
Frankly, those of us who live in Portland don't always come into the office, so we're distributed even if we aren't distributed. And we have two that we like to use ourselves, and we'll mix it up for fun because we like to play with meetings, right? Because who doesn't?
Of course you
do. We do.
Of course you do.
But the icebreaker is a great ritual, and I have been shocked. I have been shocked by the number of high-performing organizations where they use like the traditional icebreaker question in their weekly meetings for years. I'm like talking like military groups. And, one of my favorite organizations is this group of businesses called Zingerman's. And somebody different runs the meeting every week. And one of the things they do is they ask a question and everybody goes around and answers it. And it's a simple little thing that says, hey, let's just be human for a second and get connected. And then you're doing some interesting team mind jujitsu there, right? So one of the challenges with a remote team is like half the people are looking at their email while you're supposed to be on the meeting. Yeah, it's just what a nightmare.
It's kind of like you were watching me last time. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So and everybody's like, oh, how do I get my team engaged and da 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 da? And it's like, have them participate. Right? It's super hard to be checking your email if you're answering a question.
That doesn't mean I haven't tried, but okay, totally understood. Totally understood.
The team at Atlassian, they do a great thing. They take 2 minutes each, and they say, "What's top of mind for you on the work front, and what's top of mind for you on the business front?" I mean, work front and personal front. Right? It's humanizing. It's focusing. It makes them all aware of what's going on in the business, and it takes 2 minutes. Easy.
Got it. Okay. That's not, it's got to be more than that. What else I got to do here, Elise? I know there's more.
Yeah, so you get everybody engaged right off the bat with something that's meaningful to you guys, right? So that's one. Step two, you structure the bit in the middle to get through the work.
There's the S word again. Go ahead.
You got to have structure. I don't care if you have an agenda. An agenda is a bulleted list artifact, but you got to have a plan for how you're going to make sure that conversation is a good use of time. One of the better formats for weekly team groups is to start off with celebrating some victories. What did we win this week? Then quickly go over your numbers. I don't know how you keep score, but keeping score is a great thing to do, and making sure everybody can see those numbers and keep score is great because it, helps people understand how what they do contributes to your business, helps them make better decisions. So you go over the scorecard, and then you take the rest of the time and you say, okay, what are the top 3 problems we've got as a team? And you solve them. You literally say, these are the top 3 issues. What are our best ideas? And then you write down what you're going to do next. You get action items. You say, okay, looks like Fred's going to tackle this, this, and this, and Sally's going to do this. Great. 5 minutes before your scheduled end time, you stop with whatever you've got done. You review what you decided, and off you go. So that's a meeting where you've started by liking each other and reinforcing your values. You've looked at what matters most, and you've celebrated what success looks like, and you've solved some actual honest-to-goodness problems that are keeping your team from succeeding. That's worth your time.
Yes. In my head is like, yes, but who's going to do that? That's literally the subtext of what was said in my head. I am confessing that out loud because when I'm right now, and I know it's my interpretation, I know it's me, but when I hear what you're saying, and I'm like, that sounds like work just to put that structure together and to make it there. And then we have to maintain it. That sounds like more work just to have the meeting. But you're saying, yes, I know that, but it's worth it. That's what I'm hearing.
Not only that, but what I'm saying is, this is one of those stitch in time saves 9 kind of things, right? Find a structure that works, and then you use it. You do it basically the same way, week after week after week. So what are you going to spend? You're going to spend like an hour learning how to run that one meeting. Like go download a guide from our website.
Oh,
We've got
I see where you're
tons
going
of
with
them,
that.
right?
Got it.
Go look at EOS's guides. Go look at Vern Harnish's guides. Go find somebody's way of running that thing. spend an hour doing that. And then you're not having 9 hours of follow-up meetings with everybody.
I will neither confirm or deny that happened. So
it's massively, and you've solved problems where everybody can see that you guys like to solve problems and succeed together. Like, not only have you saved time overall, but you've motivated and connected your team in a way that they don't have access to when they just talk to you by themselves.
Understood. Now, I have further questions. Talk to me more about exactly Lucid, the meetings, your sites. Or I was perusing and I'm like, does she teach me to have a better meeting? Does her software do it? I was trying to understand exactly what you guys do over there at Lucid Meetings.
Yeah, so our mission is to help make it easy for teams to have successful meetings. And that means that we do a ton of stuff. We have a ton of ways that we do that. On the website, one of the key ways in which we do that is education. So there are I could wallpaper my house 97 times over with the number of free resources we have that teach people how to run different kinds of conversations well. Not just this weekly team thing, but how do you do planning? How do you do reviews? How do you do interviews? All kinds of things like that. So there's a lot of resources there.
You're just naming all the stuff that I'm just like, oh my God, everything it's like, you said planning. Oh, none of these things are the things that like give me the I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Where does your joy come from?
What's that?
Where does your joy in your business come from? Like
me? I'm in nature, like left to my own devices. Vision. I will solve a problem, but I need somebody else has got to see it through, implement it, and being able to take those creative, complex things and come up with new systems. I can build systems all day long. I can sell stuff all day long, and educate and train. But meetings and review, and that's what I tell my staff is like the part that I play in terms of our content and actually, coming up with new ways to add new services to our short-term rental products, that's fun. But when describing that to people, that's fun. Being in front of the camera, talking about it and helping and planting that seed so new entrepreneurs grab onto that seed and use it and become better entrepreneurs and build their own 6 and 7 figure enterprises. That's fun. But all the CEO stuff, that's what I call it. It's all the CEO stuff. The CEO stuff is the formal business, the planning, the interviews for hiring, the reviews of those who are currently there. All of that is like, can I have a business and not do that? And the answer is no, but
no.
It's like, and again, college dropout. So I never went through most of this stuff that, the corporate language, it's an environment that's very foreign to me. And I didn't like being an employee, and so the idea of like, now I'm an employer and I'm trying to, it's just weird. So all of these things that you're saying, I have historically tried to find a way to outsource it, to be honest. Like, can somebody else do that for me? Because I don't want to do it. I just don't want to. But as you said earlier, we're at this crossroads. I gotta, but I don't want to. Well,
so let me invite you, if it's all right.
I'm already accepting whatever this invitation is. It sounds great.
Okay. I'm going to invite you to a different perspective on what you just said.
Please.
Right? Because I'm with you. I absolutely love to create new ideas. That's my bag.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing the opportunities and the systems in place, which is why at Lucid Meetings, our big focus is on meetings as part of the business operating system, right? Not meetings because meetings are cool, but meetings as a way to help you get what you want. How do you basically talk to people in sequence? How do you design that so that it creates the results you're after? Because And I know that you got to talk to other people to get them to work with you, to buy things from you. So you just talked about loving the same things that I love.
Yeah.
Now take that and realize that as the CEO, as the leader in this moment, first of all, you're not at any kind of disadvantage when it comes to this thing, because nobody gets training in this stuff. Nobody gets training in this. That like 20% of managers in the US get any kind of meeting skills training. So, you're doing great. You're ahead of the pack because you talked to me.
All right.
But what this is you are designing the system of how your business is going to run. And as you step into that room, each and every moment you do that, you're in front of a group that you're marketing the vision of what it means to be part of your company. That's what that moment is. That's your moment to sell it. That's your moment to be human with them, like you would with any good client that you're trying to rent a property to understand what they need and to have them understand what you need and to negotiate your way together forward to make that business awesome. And just like you would, put out the cookies in an open house, there's no reason not to put out whatever the virtual cookies are for your team and design that experience, that system, to help them perform for you and for each other. It's the same thing.
Doesn't feel the same.
Because you're fighting it. You're fighting it.
Yeah,
There's something in there. You're just holding on to it.
I would love to let it go and never look at it again, but but that's not possible. You gotta encounter this all the time. I'm like, this is literally your business. You can't tell. This is like your thing. Every entrepreneur. Many, I would say, feel some version of what I'm communicating right now. They've gotta.
I'm absolutely, and it's even worse the farther down the pecking order you go, right? So let's say you feel the way that you feel, but you're not in charge, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right, like that's a terrible place to be when you're called into these rooms and locked in with people and you have no power to impact what's going on, which is also not true. There are ways, but it's much, much harder when you're not in charge. So there are some people who fundamentally don't believe that this is the way to go. It's too bad, because whether you like it or not, it is necessary. It is something that has honest to goodness teachable skills, learnable skills, and that drives performance. And when you look at the people who are crushing it, and crushing it for reals, not crushing it because, somebody magically gave them $1 bazillion, but like actually honest to goodness building businesses that serve people. Yeah. They do this well.
So here's the question. When you look at today's landscape, like off the top of your head, top 5 companies that you go, man, they probably run really good meetings. Who comes to mind?
Well, there are the companies that I know run really good meetings.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Sounds great.
Bridgewater Associates. So are you familiar with Ray Dalio and Principles and their work?
I'm familiar with Ray mostly.
Yeah. So they if you go watch his TED Talk, he is a huge advocate for the idea of basically an idea meritocracy. How do we make sure we have the best ideas? And then he shows you how that works in practice. And in the TED Talk, he shows you videos of their meetings.
Got it.
Right? That's how they practice that skill. Pixar has a way that they look at their work in the morning and that they critique their work weekly. That keeps their work high quality. It's a foundational part of how they make sure everybody's involved and the best story, animation, all of that wins.
Yeah.
The and you can see Amazon. Amazon writes about their meetings all the time. Oprah's written about how important it is for her to run her meetings a certain way to get results and to leverage that time to achieve the massive, wonderful empire that she has. Mm-hmm. And then, I love looking at examples from the elite military teams. And for people like the wildland firefighters, right? So these people are in situations of extreme volatility, right? Like we think our business world is volatile. Try fighting wildfires. Right?
It's funny you mentioned that. I was around some firefighters once, and they were like, "Man, I can't do what you do," and they're talking to me like I'm doing something phenomenal. I'm like, dude, you run into burning buildings. You win. Right. There's no way on earth I could do what you do. You're the hero, not me.
So they are the heroes. And part of how they do it is they have a very disciplined and very clear way that they talk about what they're doing. Right? You can see in Japanese speed trains, the way in which they talk out loud about what they're doing, the way in which they communicate their work changes their results. It changes their culture. And without it, they wouldn't be able to do what they do.
Yeah. So tell us, what's the pill we need to take to transform?
I think you got to accept that this is an opportunity, not a burden. Ooh. You got to have that perspective shift. And then after that, it gets a lot easier. It gets a lot easier because there are great examples everywhere.
I like that. I like that a lot. Now, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that there's a number of people who have been either crying and or laughing at me this entire episode, either way. But they're like, you know what? I want more. I want to find out how I can get help with my meetings. And I know that my team is kind of going sideways, or I know that this is in my future for my business and I might as well tackle it now. What's going to be the best way for them to find out more about what you guys got going on and follow up with you?
Yeah, our everything that I talk about and everything that we have to offer is available on our website. It's lucidmeetings.com. And there I mentioned the free resources. I also wrote a book. The book outlines, once you flip past that opportunity burden paradigm shift, there are 16 distinct types of meetings that you can then use as puzzle pieces to build your system.
Did you say 16?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But one of them's the interview, right? One of them's this. It's not painful. They're not all bad. They're not all a burden. Some of them are the ideation session. I know you gotta love that.
Oh, well, those are fun.
See, I know you gotta love that.
Well, when I get to break out a mind map and just go, that's great. That's happy time.
Exactly. So how do you, what are those moments? How do you use those moments with the other moments? How do you take that mind map and turn it into, work getting done in real time? Stringing those together and what those pieces are so that you can have fun creating the system is all covered in the book. And then we have an online training school as well, where I teach classes and we're bringing in courses from people who specialize in areas that are unique to different parts of the business world. Because it turns out when you start looking at meetings, they're everywhere. And there are all kinds of really super cool, slick, very specific, nuanced techniques and things you can do. It's this wonderfully rich design canvas of way more than even I could ever possibly get excited about. So we're excited to be bringing in other instructors to help with that too.
Yeah, well, I will say this, if nothing, you do love people, love helping people with meetings. So I have heard that over and over again today. And I'm just like, wow, she's like, for real. This is her jam. And
This is my jam, man.
I'm like, okay.
Totally.
I'm like, all right, sounds good. Now, as we wind down here, I got a question for you because I'm curious to hear how you specifically answered this. I know that there's a number of individuals who have listened this far, and they've reached what I like to call the precipice of decision. Basically, what has happened is that their belief has shifted. They're like, you know what? I can do this. I can make this thing happen. You know what? I'm done with 6. I'm ready for 7. I'm done with 7. I'm ready for 8 figures. It's going to happen. And apparently I got to have better meetings. And Elise says I can do it. And I can hear Jay struggles, but it's okay. I'm going to make this happen anyway. Now, you know, like I know, that when you reach these precipice of decisions, these moments, what happens is we have a companion. And that companion comes in the form of a voice. And it's a voice that reminds us of, well, you know what happened last time you tried to organize yourself and have meetings and all this other stuff? You know, you seriously thinking you're going to be able to keep that going for how long? I'm like, really? How long is it going to work this time? And for some people, they're actually related to that voice. So my question to you is as follows. Let's pretend that this time it's going to be different. They're going to follow through. And they're going to do exactly what you say, Elise, and they're going to do so in the next 24 to 48 hours. What would you suggest that they do?
I would suggest they do 2 things. 1, find a story. They got to find their why and tell themselves that story so they can tell their team. Right? So, hey, I know this has been a challenge. I'm ready to take this up. Here's a story of a company that I've heard that does it well. Right? You give people a vision. You got to create that vision. You know this one. Hold on to that vision in their head. It could be they listen to this. They listen to us talk and they're like, you know what? I heard that this is possible. I want to give it a try. And then second thing they do is they get their team involved in the experiment. And that's the key. You know, you're going to do this all the time. You're going to meet this week. You're going to meet next week. You don't have to get it right the first time. You're not going to get it right the first time. That's all right. It's an experiment. Try it. Shift it. Try it. Shift it. The fact that you are trying at all, if you've been running terrible meetings, will be such a blessing for your team. They will be so grateful once they actually believe that you mean it. When they see you try, then they can help you. Because, the key thing about a meeting is that it's not something anybody ever does alone. Invite your team to the experiment and let them help you. Let them find the examples. Let them suggest some of the ideas. And guess what? Maybe you don't have to be the person who makes that happen. You just have to open the door.
I like that. Did not see that coming. But I like it a lot. And I will do exactly. I like your idea as well. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna have my team listen to the unedited version of this so that they can't even have the thought that I cut out something or something was cut out in some way, shape, or form. I want them to hear my own struggle all the way through, because maybe that'll humanize me in a completely different way, and we'll have a different meetings in the future. Because for us to hit the goals that I see to reach the potential, I think it's necessary, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this challenge, and I appreciate the work that you're doing, because you're tackling something that isn't exactly fun or sexy in any way, shape, or form.
Until you make it fun and sexy. And
that's the thing. No one approaches this with no one like, yeah, I need to get better meetings. I've never heard no one's ever come up to me and said, hey, Jay, how do you run a better meeting? I'm like, I don't know. It's not something that is being talked about anywhere near the amount it probably should be. And you're out there doing it. And let me be one of the first to just say thank you for taking your time to share your knowledge, your wisdom, and your insight here with us today at the CashFlow Diary.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for you to move at the speed of instruction. What does that mean? That means get over to lucidmeetings.com. You have heard everything. You heard my own evolution and thoughts. You've heard my understanding. And if you're having anywhere near the same amount of feelings or hesitations around the meetings that you know you need to have, well, then go make it happen. Free yourself from the self-fulfilling doom loop. That's what I am on the journey to do. And now you can join me. Again, just get over to lucidmeetings.com. Get the process started today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.